This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
There are quite a few online reports today, most notably from the Express. They seem to have a bit more in depth on this one. That a verbal agreement has pretty much been agreed for Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder to fight in Vegas on November the 10th, which would be US, and November the 11th for UK, as in November the 11th, 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's great in the sense that these guys have come to some kind of agreement, and I have no issue with that one. I would love to see that fight next, but I've got a couple of questions in here, and I want to give my honest assessment of all this. And if you guys can do the same in the comment section below, click that thumbs up while you're there and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So a few questions I have is, why November? Why not August? So what's the hold up? I don't understand. Why does it have to be November, literally at the end of the year? Okay, so what? You're talking 6 months away now? That is way too long. Way too long. Now, are these guys going to have a fight between now and then? We know there's rumours, high rumours, and Dominic Brazil has confirmed this as well, that he has a date set in August to fight Deontay Wilder. So maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe he has an obligation to fight Dominic Brazil. Maybe it's something to do with the rumble that they had back in Alabama. A year ago now, is it? Maybe, don't know. Could it be that Joshua is going to be fighting Povetkin? Don't know. Maybe he's going to fight Miller next. Don't know. But either way, that's what they're looking at, November the 10th in America. Now, there are a few things here that I want to raise questions for. And as you all know, I'm a huge AJ fan and British boxing in general. And of course, Matchroom have put British boxing on the map. No doubt about it. Anthony Joshua is a superstar in the UK. How's he viewed outside the rest of the world? I don't really know. I know in Africa he's very popping. In America, I'm hearing not so much. And this is a good opportunity for him to get his name out there, no doubt. And Wilder is also not a big name in America. So a pay-per-view in America, when neither one of these guys have been pay-per-view, it's going to raise a few questions. So anyway, you see, a lot of people say that AJ should be a man of his word because he said, give me 50 million and I'll take that fight tomorrow. Now, of course, he didn't say just give me 50 million and you can do whatever you want. He didn't say that. But people want to say that he should be a man of his word and hold him to his word. But before then, he did actually say, after the Parker fight, we are not going to America. We are staying in the UK. So we could hold him against that one, of course. But for 50 million, do you blame him? No, not really. But if AJ versus Wilder was to happen in the UK, how much would Anthony Joshua get? He'd probably get around about, 25, 30 million pounds, right? So that's probably about 5 million short or 10 million short of what he would get fighting in America. It's a lot of money, right? But when you're earning the kind of money that he's getting anyway, it's not like he's getting a working man's purse and suddenly given this great opportunity here to go earn some decent money. It's not like that at all. He's already pretty minted. He can buy as many packets of Smarties that he likes, okay? So this kind of money, surely it's a head turner, no doubt, but either way. But I suppose one reason why Wilder or Team Wilder are so desperate to get it in America is because they want to make it look like Matchroom Anthony Joshua is not the A side when it comes to America. And by Joshua taking this fight, it's almost like they're giving in, saying, okay, fine, if you want to think that you're the A side, no problem. Even though you're the one paying me and guaranteeing me all this kind of money, no problem. You believe that you're the A side. Okay. Now, if the fight was to happen in the UK, as I said, he'd get a whole heap of money anyway, right? But it wouldn't be that much shorter than what it would be for America. But it's enough money, of course. Maybe Wilder doesn't want to come here. So they're so desperate to pay him that kind of money to not only make him out to be that Joshua and Eddie Hearn is not the A side, but it could be that Wilder is just hated in the UK for the most part. No, sorry, that's wrong wording. Not for the most part, but by a lot of people, because he has said some hellacious things about UK fans. He really, really has. To the point maybe a lot of people just are unwilling to pay a pay-per-view in the UK for Wilder because he's called the country a bunch of racists before, where it's our natural instinct to turn on a black man in favour of a white man because it's in our DNA to be racial because we started racism originally. We didn't, but these are the kind of things that he says, plus many, many others, which we're not going to get into. But Team Wilder are saying, and again, this is according to the Express, that they are only guaranteeing Joshua this 50 million if the fight happens in Vegas on their terms or that kind of thing, because the prices in the arena, they're going to, I mean, Lou DiBella's already said this, they're going to put the prices for a ticket through the roof. In other words, rip the fans off is what they're going to do. But of course, in Vegas, they get a certain cut of the slot machines and all that kind of thing as well. So certainly good money, no doubt, but it's certainly a gamble, as neither of these are pay-per-view. Deontay Wilder has only ever earned 2.1 million as a highest payday, rumouredly, of course, and his highest viewing figures was 1.4 million against Luis Ortiz. For pay-per-view, he's going to have to do more than that, and they're really going to have to use Joshua's name. Now, a lot of people say, see, the money's in America, but not for Wilder, it isn't. See, they're having to use Joshua's name to generate this kind of money. All right. So again, and if all this is confirmed that it is going to be in Vegas next, and it's in November or whenever it's going to be stateside, then they're going to have to try and sell it because they will rely on the British fans going to Vegas. Usually with the words, the Brits love to travel. Come on over to Vegas, let's make a good weekend of it, blah, 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 blah. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for the average person in the UK, could they afford to just jump on an aeroplane, leave their family behind with their mates, pay extortionate price for ticket, pay the flights to Vegas, that ain't cheap, plus the accommodation, which will be through the roof, plus the spending money for trinkets and drinks and food and bit of gambling, I suppose, while you're there, right? So they're going to rely on us to do that because people did it for Ricky Hatton against Floyd Mayweather and a few things like that. But of course, you have to remember, Ricky Hatton was popping, no doubt, but Floyd Mayweather was pay-per-view. Floyd Mayweather was the star of boxing even back then, okay? Wilder and that is not. I'm sorry, but he's not, okay? And so what you're saying is, you expect British fans to pay all this kind of money to travel to America when I believe because we have made Joshua, right? Don't get me wrong, Joshua's had to do his bit, but ultimately the fans didn't have to get behind Joshua. They could have got behind Tyson Fury or Dillian White or whoever else, but people chose to get behind Joshua because he was appealing, he's saying the right things, he looks the part, he's acting the part, and he's doing what he needs to do in the ring, and of course winning world titles in crazy fast time, and we're all very, very proud of him. But there does have to come a point where we always hear, well, Josh's going to be pay-per-view no matter what. There has to come a point where we go, actually, this is taking the piss. Because we have been buying the pay-per-views. We have been filling out the stadiums. We have been buying the merchandise. Speaking of which, I spent £30 on a cap of Anthony Joshua, the official cap. Now, don't get me wrong. It comes in like a nice presentation box inside a nice little white bag with Anthony Joshua on the front of it. And it's a nice little hat, I suppose. I don't really wear caps too much, but still, I did it. But £30 for a hat is nice. But what the hell am I supposed to do with this little white bag that it comes in? What am I going to do with it? I offered it to my wife to maybe put some makeup or something in it, but she's like, well, it's boxing, I don't care. So now I've got a bag I don't know what to do with, and it's quite a nice bag. I don't want to get rid of it, so now it's going to take up a little bit of room in my drawer. But anyway, people are spending money on merchandise for Joshua. And as I said, he said that he's going to stay in the UK and to go to America for money. I'm not happy about it. I have to be honest. I'm not happy about paying a pay-per-view for 5 o'clock in the morning. Listen, I'm a sucker, I'm an idiot, okay? I am what they are relying on when it comes to keep on buying the merchandise and the pay-per-view for Joshua and British fighters. I fit their narrative, and I know a lot of other people do, but still. Now, don't get me wrong. Joshua, world champion, he should travel the world and fight. He should go to Vegas. He should go to New York or wherever, anywhere in stateside and fight. But when it comes to undisputed, we have never had two champions coming together on British soil for undisputed. I think we've kind of earned that right. Now, as I said, it's not like he's going to go there and earn a whole crap load of money when he couldn't earn money here because he's getting paid peanuts here. He's not selling out arenas here and he's given this great opportunity. He's not. He's going over there to get shafted, is what's happening. And we'll get onto that bit in a minute. So I think that the British fans have a right to have undisputed for the first time in history. Even if Joshua was to lose, at least we've had undisputed champion crowned on British soil. America's had it many times. Why can't we have it? I'm acting a bit babyish, maybe, a bit childish. Okay, fine. Whatever, that's just my point of view on this one. Now, with this 50 million, there's potential for him to earn more. So the more pay-per-views it does, if it sells out, and if it does well in America, and if people in the UK are willing to pay all this kind of money for Anthony Joshua for 5 o'clock in the morning, even though we're going to be suffering all day Sunday through tiredness, and a lot of us have, families, wives, children, that we're going to have to be neglecting on a Sunday to watch Joshua. It's a bit unfair, but he could potentially earn more than 50 million if this does really well. But here's my little thing on that bit. So why should we care if he's going to get paid more than 50 million? 50 million is more than enough for one person, isn't it? Sure, it's more than enough money. Why do I care if he gets 51 million? Why do I care if he gets 60 million? I don't care. He's getting paid 50 million guaranteed. If this pay-per-view flops and the whole show flops, I don't care. He's getting paid 50 million. 35 million pounds. That's more than enough for one fighter, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan. As I said, I'd have spent 30 quid on a frigging hat, plus other things. But still, 50 million isn't enough. I'm not really going to be pushing for him to be earning any more, unless I'm going to get a cut, which I'm not. So why would I care? Is my honest answer to that one. Now, again, people will say, well, 5 o'clock in the morning, it's not that bad. Well, this is what the promoters and everything will say. Like Eddie Hearn, Luda Bella and whatever. They're all going to say, well, in the UK, Floyd versus Conor McGregor did very well. And that was 5 o'clock in the morning. Floyd versus Manny Pacquiao did very well. And that was early hours in the morning, as in here in the UK. And it did do very well. But that's Floyd Mayweather. Okay? And who he was fighting was a once-in-a-lifetime MMA versus boxing. The star of both sports come together for a once-off. So people are going to do that, right? Against Manny Pacquiao. People have been waiting for years for that one. Have we been waiting years for Deontay Wilder? Do we consider Wilder pay-per-view? Do Americans consider Wilder pay-per-view? Not really, no. I have to be honest. So the viewing figures are going to get hurt in the UK. So they're really going to have to rely on Americans doing this. Even though for a long time people say, in no way I'm paying Wilder pay-per-view. And, this is coming from Americans, even though that they are fans of his. I ain't going to pay pay-per-view. I'm not going to pay $100 to watch Deontay Wilder. Why would I? So, again, it's one hell of a risk. But still, Joshua's guaranteed 50 million. So it's more a risk for Team Wilder, to be fair. No doubt about it. So, but for me, I think in the UK, pay-per-view will be ruined. Well, not ruined, but it ain't going to do as well as what it would as if the fight was in the UK. And if you look at it, a fight at 5 o'clock in the morning is unreasonable, yes? But people say, and Team Wilder's saying, but a fight at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday in America is unreasonable. What's more unreasonable? 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock in the morning? What's more unreasonable? Who's the one getting screwed out of this one? Okay, so our pay-per-view prices are not as high as yours. I get that. But still, I mean, for me, this is one of those reasons where it should have been done and planned so it's on neutral ground. So in a country where the time zone suits us in the UK and America, if necessary. Okay, but either way, money over anything else, right? Now, it's a gamble for US pay-per-view for Wilder and Joshua, isn't it? As I said, people, for the most part, don't know who these people are. If Wilder can't fill out a 19,000 seater arena at rock bottom prices and has to give away 5,000 of those tickets, and even then still only manages to hit 14,000, that tells you one hell of a story. But no. Here come the Brits to the rescue. We've got to pay the extortionate prices over in Vegas and the flights and the accommodation and all this kind of stuff. Don't worry, you can rely on us to do that, right? Either way. Now, as I said, a lot of this is about making Wilder look to be the A-side, because I don't like the fact that Eddie Hearn's going over there and could potentially be running boxing at some point. And they don't like that. So they want to put on this show on Showtime to show, hey, we Americans, we are doing this. See, the money's here. Yes, we need Joshua's name. Yes, we need his profile, but still, we have the money. By the way, UK, can you contribute? Right? Anyway. And again, if you look at some of the historical fights in Vegas, just on top of my head here, really, Canelo versus Triple G. Rogue judges, right? Adelaide Bird, 118 to 110 in favour of Canelo. On what planet is that fight unfair? See, corruption in Vegas, where there's money, there's corruption. Floyd versus Ricky Hatton. Don't tell me that that referee was not in the pocket of Floyd Mayweather. Don't tell me he wasn't, because he was. Lennox Lewis versus Evander Holyfield. Was that in Vegas? The first time when they had the draw. I really should have looked at that. But I'm pretty sure that was in Vegas. And who got screwed? Lennox Lewis did. He clearly won that fight, but they gave it a draw. Hey, even if it wasn't in Vegas, it was still in America. So they're always going to favour the home fighter, are they not? So really, to kind of sum up, I think Joshua, if he goes to Vegas, then he's done it for money, not for anything else. Now, don't get me wrong, I still believe he'll go there and he'll knock out Wilder smooth. But if it goes to points, I'm telling you right now, Joshua will lose. There will be a rogue judge there somewhere. The referee is going to be favourable towards Wilder. We've seen that when he fought Luis Ortiz, right? He had a whole minute on the stool. Not one medical person went over to the stool to check on him. They waited for round 8 to start and then bring him over and check on him when they realised he was still on rubbery legs. This is going to happen. As I said, it's going to Vegas, the gambling capital of the world. And who always wins in Vegas? The house wins in Vegas. And who's the house in this fight? Is it Matchroom? Is it AJ? No. Al Heyman. The Americans own the house in Vegas. Do you really think they're going to give Joshua 50 million and let him beat Wilder and let Joshua come away with the belts? Do you really believe that? You've got to be off your head, really. Anyway, that's my points. As I said, there's lots of rumours online right now that the fight has been verbally agreed to be over in Vegas in November time. It's up to you whether or not you believe these. Go online, have a little look yourself. But how reliable are these sources? I don't know. The Express have dropped a couple of clangers before, and they have predicted some pretty accurate stuff before as well. So again, make of it as you will until we get official confirmation. Again, it's just a rumour. But for me, am I happy about it being in Vegas? From a UK perspective, no, not at all. Not on your Nelly. Am I going to pay for it? Yes, because I'm stupid. I am the kind of fan that they want. Don't worry, it's Joshua. Joshua could fight Manuel Char for a unification of the WBA. And guess what? They're going to put it on pay-per-view. Even though it's not a pay-per-view fight. But you know what? Old Muggins here, I'll pay for it. No problem. Am I going to go to Vegas? Hell no. For 2 reasons. Number one, it's a lot of money. But even if I did have the money, would my wife let me? Hell no. Hell no would she. No chance. But anyway. So that's what's going on. This is what the rumour mill is on right now. And again, I know a lot of people are going to be, I think Wilder fans for the most part, not all of them, because there's some quality fans out there who are very, very open and honest about things. But there are a lot who will be looking at this saying, see, we're the A-side, Basically, AJ, you're going over there to sell your belt is what's happening, because you're going to get screwed. As I said, house wins. And these fans are going to be unrelenting from now until fight night. Why? Because they made Anthony Joshua drop his... Well, they didn't, but in their mind they did. Hey, we're American, we did this. We didn't. But you know what? Anthony Joshua went over there and got his pants dropped, is what's happened. Yeah, he's going to come out with a hell of a lot of money, but he could get that money not far off fighting Povetkin anyway. Not far off, but even so. 2 fights, he could get more than that money, no doubt about it, no doubt about it. But anyway, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Let me know, are you going to pay for this pay-per-view 5 o'clock in the morning? Are you going to travel to Vegas if you're in the UK or Ireland or Africa, wherever it is that you may be, where you're a huge fan of AJ? Or are you going to try and find another way of watching it to maybe, I don't know, stream it, or try and find it on YouTube the next day, or whatever else? Drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the very next video. Apologies it went on for quite some time, but